Back in like 2008.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout of the evening is your feature bout of the night, and it is sponsored by Action 24/7. It's in the featherweight division and is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing your first fighter, fighting out of the Allure Properties blue corner. He weighed in at 145.6 pounds. He has a professional record of 5 wins with 1 loss. He's representing Black Label Martial Arts out of Gaston, South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Blessed Warrior, Charleston Pou. And his opponent, fighting out of the Knoxville Mortgage Brokers red corner. He weighed in at 144.5 pounds. He has a professional record of 6 wins with 4 losses. He's representing Nashville MMA out of Nashville, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zack Hicks. Your referee is Keith Peterson.
And just like that, all the nonsense got thrown out of the cage because we got Keith Peterson taking over, of course, the no-nonsense man himself, and we've got a big fight here, Charleston Pou, Zack Hicks. And we are on our way.
Both guys look solid, like you said, at weigh-ins yesterday.
Both guys solid, and again, we're getting another Orthodox versus Southpaw matchup. We've been seeing them quite a bit tonight, and always intriguing how the kicks kind of land, how, you know, the different things that they're not necessarily accustomed to. But with Hicks, I don't know that the stance matters much when you're on top of a guy. I would imagine he's looking to get his wrestling going here, although looks comfortable with the stand-up so far, catches a kick, returns fire.
I'm interested to see, too, Hicks is coming off of a knee injury as well. You know, is that going to change up his game? Is he going to able to adapt and make slight changes off of that?
Well, as you mentioned, he's a guy that's been around the game for a long time. I mean, he has a career dating back to the late 2000s, 2008. But again, yes, he has dealt with knee injuries on both sides, something that he's come over from. In all of his losses, because he loses to top guys generally in their own backyards, but he's had a couple third-round TKO losses, and so the question's always been, you know, how deep would his gas tank be? And then coming off the knee injury, that it's even more of a question mark. But we saw him make his pro MMA return not that long ago and looked really good, got a first-round submission. You didn't see the cardio, you didn't see the knee get tested. But of course, talking to him, seeing how professional he is and how composed and well he keeps himself, you know, I would hate to say that cardio is an issue, and I think if he gets his good old-fashioned American grind going, it would be very effective against a boxer like Charleston Pou.
Yeah, and he's smart. He's professional. I don't think that he would rush coming back. You know, he's a teacher. I don't think that that he's going to take a massive chance on hurting his knee and messing up his body like that.
Both fighters seem greatly composed in this. Good to see. Oh, I was going to say, good job taking him off the back. Use that cage to help him scrape him off. Are we looking at...
Both guys, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belts. Of course, that top position definitely, you know, advantageous for Hicks, who's physically very strong, positionally very aware.
He's got that wrestling head position there.
I never had the luxury of having a really cool teacher in high school, you know? Like, I never had a Rich Franklin. I never had a Zack Hicks. Like, I don't know, but I would think you walk around the halls and, you know, people listen when you speak.
Do you think that would be a luxury, having an MMA fighter as a coach or as a teacher?
Oh, you would be like, you know what? I generally don't do my homework all the time, but this term, Mr. Hicks told me to put it in. I'm going to put it in. And you know what, I'm somebody who's motivated by other people's successes. You know, I see how somebody else do good and then it motivates you. And I think as a kid in high school, you had some teachers that didn't really want to be there. They didn't maybe love their job. And Zack Hicks loves his life, you know. He's a competitor. He's a self-motivated guy. He's in excellent shape. And I think as a kid, he's a great role model.
You can tell. You could tell by the way he holds himself.
Yeah, just like a really good guy. So, yeah, and not to take anything from Charleston Pou, good guy as well. And definitely in this fight, he needs to figure a way to get off his back at this point because he's letting the first round tick away from him. And if his game plan was to tire out Hicks and get him out of there in the third, like other guys have in the past, he's going to have to do something more to exert Hicks, who's kind of just in the driver's seat at this point.
Yeah, I'd like to see him start using his hooks just a little bit more, butt scooting up, which I understand is hard. Hicks is solid on top. And now he's trying to go for that wrist control.
But Pou's doing a great job of nullifying any transition or any submission that Hicks has been able to throw at him.
Let me ask you guys this, individually, I guess, but if this was earlier and it's Luke Wilson reffing it, he might have stood it up already, right? Whereas some refs, Keith Peterson, they're allowing you to work. When you go into a fight, do you know who your ref's going to be, and do you look at the style pattern at all?
For me, I don't. But
You're
I
a
know.
fighter. Alexis shows up and she throws down. It doesn't matter.
But you do know. Usually the ref comes in, they talk to you right before you come out. But you've been in this long enough that you're kind of familiar with. Okay, I kind of know how this ref may call the fight a little bit early if you get into a bad position. This one may let you work a little longer.
Yeah, for me, I always the ref comes in and goes over the rules, and I always tell him, hey. If it looks like I'm going out, let me go. Like I'm a tough dude. I'm durable. Let me fight my fight. Don't stop the fight. Whatever you do. And I also ask them if there's no action like this, what do I have to do to get it stood up? So some refs will say just hold them tight, and some will say I have to see you move. So I know in my head, in order to get this stood up, I have to move. So it definitely takes a. It definitely does come into play.
Nashville.
Joe McCarthy is actually pretty big on that. He always says, you have to work to get up. If you're trying to work and your opponent is smothering you, no problem. But if you're not working and you're just holding on, well, then it's nothing that they can do. But, yeah, it was not like Hicks was holding on. He was putting in some dividends, grinding on him, wearing on him. And what people have to realize is that it's an extremely effective style, and Hicks excels at that style.
Absolutely. It's smart. He secured the first round. I would give it to Hicks here. For Pou, I'm going to start to get vocal with the ref. What do you want? 'Cause I'm trying to bring action, and I think from a fan's point of view as well, I would have liked to see that been stood up, 30 seconds, 45 seconds out from the end of the round there.
Well, certainly a good first round for Zack Hicks. For Charleston Pou, definitely still in it. Needs to figure out a way how to potentially keep this fight standing and get his hands going, but it's kind of a risk-reward. On one hand, you got to get throwing. On the other hand, the more you throw, the more likelihood of him ducking under something. So you got to pick and choose your spots. But it certainly appears that Hicks secured that first round.
And Hicks is already starting to back him up.
Yep, putting that pressure. That's what I like to see. I like to see that front kick. I like to see a fake of an uppercut or something just to kind of throw Hicks off from getting his shot off.
I think that body kick got some a response from Hicks as well. You can see he's starting to bruise on that side, and it's kind of reddening just below the rib. Of course, that's the big advantage from the southpaw stance is like the best kick is the body kick, the liver kick, right? And you can set it up so well, southpaw versus orthodox. But this takes liver kicks right out of the mix. You take a guy down, you control that space, and of course Hicks does it just about as good as anybody.
Giving up his back here a little bit. I've done that many of times just to get out, so I hope that that's kind of what he's going for. Sometimes you get a little bit vulnerable in there just to get an escape or to create a scramble. That's kind of what I'd like to see here out of Pou.
And Hicks taking those back legs, hard knees in the back of the thigh. I think Pou's looking to do what he kind of did in the previous round and scrape him off through that cage. But,
Potentially giving up his back here. Bad spot. Zack Hicks one hook in, looking to ride him.
And this is where you want to be if you're a wrestler. You're riding somebody, you're breaking them down. I mean, this is what he's used to. He's been doing this for a long time, so this is kind of home for him right here.
A lot of wrestlers more comfortable in that ride position than they are putting the two hooks in, because, of course, you put two hooks in, you get a little high, the guy's able to scramble, and this is just very easy to control. And, of course, Hicks looks like he's got maybe just not quite a rear waist body lock. Oh, he's looking for a rear naked choke on the far side. It'd be a short choke. He doesn't have a hook in, but...
Oh, we've seen the finish earlier tonight.
Yeah. These Nashville MMA guys, I mean, they get better all the time because there's so many good guys in the same room that's how you improve.
Yeah, and they're all right around the same weight too, which is, you know, money if you ask me.
If you look at, you know, the guys, the standout Tennessee fighters, if you look at yourself and Ovin St. Preux, you look at Scott Holtzman, you look at Luke Sanders, you look at, there's a plethora of good guys. My guy, Nate Landwehr, Nate the Train. Typically, guys have had to move out of state in order to kind of get to that next level, get the bodies, get the training in. But what Nashville MMA is doing, and if you're in the area, I urge you to go check out the gym. It is a beautiful space. It might be 20,000 square feet of gym space.
A new facility.
And I mean gorgeous.
Wow.
Michael Chandler, co-owner, shout out to him. He's got his 4 Bellator titles just sitting in the front lobby. Like, what a humble guy. He doesn't have some trophy case and this and that. What a good dude. I saw that. I was like, no way. But they're all in good spots, and of course you can see Hicks is making a lot of improvements to his own game. If he's looking at this as a final serious run in his career, he's doing the right things because he's dominating, but he's also taking no damage, and I think that's very important for a 33-year-old fighter.
And he's playing it smart. He's still keeping in good position. He may not have as many strikes, but he's able to nullify Pou.
Pou, again, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt, and using it, you know, to defensively, he's defending everything. You know, he keeps getting himself out of these positions, but it's more of a domination. I mean, Hicks is just all over him. He's one step ahead, and even when he's not getting these rear naked chokes, he's cranking on the face. He's making you work. He's making you uncomfortable.
You better watch. He keeps putting that chin up when that arm is so close. It's an awkward position for his knee in through there.
I was just thinking, yeah, it was almost like there was some type of knee bar opportunity, but. Oh, and look at that. Charleston Pou hitting a little counter, giving him a taste of his own medicine, but Hicks right away looking to hit a switch. And he's just about back to his feet.
Nice. Good opportunity. Let's see him striking, kind of capitalize off this position, throw some knees.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what their game plan was because, I mean, he's had some pro boxing bouts, so it'd be interesting to see why he's not just kind of breaking away here and landing some strikes of his own, because he did land some solid strikes in the beginning of this round.
And this is his chance, really. I mean, he lost the first round. Second round has been largely Hicks so far. There's a minute left. There was a minute left when Pou kind of reversed fortunes, but now with 30 seconds, you need to land some blows. You need to let the judges know that you're here and you're working. And nobody wants to be down 0-2 going into the third, although it's possible for him to get the knockout. It's just you're fighting out of a hole. But Hicks doing a good job of just, you know, keeping him snug up. He's got one hook, and he's not really creating any space.
Yeah, watching fights time and time again, usually a guy can steal around. You know, if there's not much action with 1 minute left, they can get a reversal, they can throw some punches, they can do something, and that's what the judges will remember is that last minute. For that one, I don't think that Pou did enough to steal that round.
You got about 10
yeah, I'm going to agree. It looks likely like it's 2-0 Hicks. I mean, he's done a fantastic job with his wrestling, and of course, I think if the one saving grace.
24/7.
But you know, maybe this is what Pou needed to kind of move and to move on to the next round. You know, he kind of feels his confidence. You know, he was able to have some control positions in wrestling against Hicks. You know, is he going to? I'd like to see him step back and use his hands, like Dustin said, or you know, being able to maybe nullify some of those shots, throw some kicks, throw some knees up the front, see what happens.
Absolutely, and again, I think the saving grace if you're in his camp is that you know Hicks has been finished before a couple of times in the third round. I wouldn't necessarily say he's slowing down in this fight. It looks like his cardio is good, but that much wrestling, that much grinding, surely it does tax you, and all Charleston Pou needs is that one big shot. Unfortunately, it does look like he might need to land that one big shot now because he is running out of time. 5 minutes left to go. He is a live dog in the spot now, but Hicks definitely having his way through two. And if you're Pou, I'd love to see him go back to that body kick. I mean, he's probably worried about getting the kick caught, but at the same time, it's a damaging blow that'll help, you know, set his hands a little lower, get him thinking about that body, and then go upstairs. Because he's going to need a knockout punch here.
Yeah, and there he goes, too.
Switch over to orthodox and back to southpaw.
He's got a bit of of a reach advantage. I like to see him just, like we were talking about earlier, when you have that southpaw versus orthodox, step out to the outside of that foot, kind of throw that cross down the center a little bit more. Just like that, just committing to it. Throws the kick, gets taken down.
It's a risk reward, you know. Part of him, he has to go for it. The other part is Zack Hicks is a talented individual that specifically wants to get these positions. And short little elbows to the thigh. I mean, see, this is the grinding style. He'll punch whatever. He'll punch his buttocks. He'll punch his glute. It does not matter. It's just a chipping and a grinding. And I can tell you, if you're Charleston Pou, it is a very frustrating night so far.
It is very frustrating, and I do agree with Hicks. Just you're hitting anything that you can see, you know, chipping away, chopping away.
And you want to show the ref that you're staying active.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you're kind of more of a I mean, he's been going for submissions. He's attacked the neck a handful of times. But when you're really just dominating in position, you do want to show the ref that you're actually working there.
Looks like he could get over to mount. No, we'll settle back down for half guard. But again, this is just a position that he loves. He likes being in that half guard, ride the hip, stay on top, stay heavy, and just cause Charleston Pou to carry all of his weight.
Yeah, and he's got good defense.
He certainly knows how to grapple. But again, he needs to just get his guys back off the cage. You know, he needs to create that space. Defensively, he's very sound. He's defended everything. Here he is shooting for his own takedown. It's smart because if I try to strike with him, he'll take me down, right? So I might as well shoot the takedown first, right? And then instead of allowing him to set up shop.
Yeah, I would like to see him kind of work off to the side here and maybe try to take Zack's back because we haven't seen him on top. We don't know what his offensive game is on top quite yet.
Very difficult to finish the takedown with a knee on the mat as well. And Zack Hicks surely just weighing all of them. Really staying heavy on him. Looks like he's trying to isolate an arm for a possible Kimura, but I think more than anything, he's just trying to keep his hands apart.
Yeah, this is an exhausting style for any fighter right here in both guys' positions.
And again, this is the reason why you can't be an independent fighter, because an independent fighter can hit a punching bag in his garage all day long. And an independent fighter can run 5 miles. An independent fighter can do many things, but you cannot do this in your own garage by yourself. And unfortunately, many MMA fights end up playing down this road. You have to be able to defend.
Is that, Pou is busted open pretty good there.
Oh, definitely a big cut now. Pou looks
dripping.
like he's bleeding over maybe the left eye.
Actually, that's a good idea by Hicks. Grinding my forehead against that cut.
Dirty but effective, yes, exactly. And again, that goes back to the grinding styles. It's by any means necessary. Whatever you can take, you will take. When you're in the heat of the moment like this, and you're grinding your head right into their open cut and there's blood everywhere, are you even thinking this person's bleeding, or is it just it's game mode, you're going after it? It could be sweat for all you know, you're just going away. Or does it bother you when your opponent's bleeding on you?
Oh, no, I love it.
Right. Alexis has had a few bloody battles in her day as well. I mean, known for
Usually
bringing the entertainment. Another takedown for Hicks. That likely secures it. 45 seconds left on the clock. Charleston Pou looking to scramble. No quit in him.
Yeah, and that's what he needs at this point. He needs to keep on creating these scrambles and look for these.
Knee bar.
Yep, absolutely. Look for these submission attempts when he can get them.
He does have it, and it's tight.
Does he have that knee?
Nope, he needs to readjust.
But Hicks needs to be smart.
Yep.
And if I'm Hicks, I'm worried because he's had knee troubles on both legs, right? So this can't be comfortable.
I feel like Pou just kind of gave it up there. He looked like he was set up for a heel hook.
We lost the round timer. Not much time, though. Maybe about 20 seconds. And Hicks comes back on top. A great way to finish the fight if you're Zack Hicks.
There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, after a grueling 15 minutes, let these warriors hear you.
Well, that was a good battle. Zack Hicks definitely went out there, tested his will, and just broke him down. It was a methodical performance. To people that say maybe not the most entertaining bout, I don't think you appreciate the martial arts because it was a good old-fashioned grind. How does Georges St-Pierre become the pay-per-view king, but a guy like Zack Hicks can't just beat you every minute of the fight? People want to see blood, people want to see action, they want to see damage, but a very clean performance. And Mr. Hicks will be able to go teach his class on Monday, and nobody will even know that he was in a fist fight. So congratulations to him. I would hate to assume.
National MMA, we got another win.
Yeah, another win for National MMA. We would hate to assume that we know who won, because judges, you never know. But I think this one might be safe to assume that Zack Hicks is walking away with the decision.
And all the credit to Pou. He's a great fighter. Just Hicks was able to implement his game a little bit better.
This is actually good for Pou because it'll cause him to do one of two things. He'll either go back to boxing and realize that's where his comfort zone is, or he'll make those adjustments to his mixed martial arts game in order to become more well-rounded. He's now 5-2. That's still a very good record. But this would be one of those learning experiences. And for Hicks, 33 years old, he now improves to 7-4 in all likelihood, and career keeps going forward. So important victory for him. And I mean, he's such a good guy. You got to like when a guy like that picks up the W. And so, we will throw it over to our ring announcer, Jeff Hobbs, and he can officially tell us what the judges have as scored.
No matter what, I think Pou should keep the mustache.
Yes.
I think it's good. I think it's good for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to a judge's scorecard. All three judges saw this bout the same. 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the red corner, Zack